students. My women are here, and the Chewoyedeji, the celebrant of today, is one of us, one of our pioneer sister members. So we're here to celebrate her at 50 and to be part of what she's doing, you know, projecting into the not too distant future, which is the Encounter Season 1.
Okay, Ma, there's something you said when you asked the question. The thing really got to me. You said, is there no alternative to JAMB? Must it be JAMB? Like when we had WAEC and NECO. So, what do you mean by that, Ma?
Definitely, we have gotten to a point where there must be an alternative, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board. The times and season have gone beyond it. Everybody is skilled in one place, and there is overstepping, there is a stampeding emotionally. We're losing our children once they fail, they are dejected and they take their lives. That's the saddest part of the situation we have found ourselves now. So JAMB has to have an alternative in Nigeria. Other means of getting into higher institutions of learning, the universities, the polytechnics, and of course the colleges of education. This is the time to say no to the long queue, to the depressing and very worrisome queue of our children, at the door of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board. So the alternative is what the federal government should start working towards: the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Science and Technology, the presidency, all relevant factors, stakeholders, parent network. This is not the time. You see, because the first option we had was to take our children out of the country, which is near non-affordable. And then the second option is the private universities. I want to tell you for free, is oversubscribed. And now there's no other alternative, except federal government says that this is another regulatory body. Like someone said, transcript, your effort from JS1 to SS3 should translate automatically for you into getting admission into a higher institution of learning. JAMB is a one-off thing. Like it could be your off day. Like footballers have their off day. It could be your off day. So you've been a brilliant student all your life, and then just 2 hours decides your destiny. So basically, like I was lucky, I took my JAMB once. Although I with the cutoff, I had to go for the course that was most appropriate. I did not allow my son to even take it a second time. I had to opt for a private university, which a lot of us might not be able to afford. So we are not mindful of the psychological disturbance it has on our children, that their mates have gone ahead of them, and then they think the alternative is to get themselves out of our lives, which is a very sad situation. Because I know that giving birth to a child is not an easy process, and watching that child die because of the process is not, the apologies are not enough from the authorities. So we need an alternative to JAMB. I recommend to the federal government, let there be alternatives to getting admission into the higher. Although the private universities is all about the money, so they take as low as maybe 150 because they need the money. But if you get to a time, as I'm speaking, a lot of private universities cannot even afford to take in more students. So in no distance, they will go back to that 200, to this, to that. So what is federal government going to do for us? Let there be an alternative to JAMB, or at most, if your result is not good, you should be given concession that, okay, you didn't meet up, this is the alternative for those who did not meet up. Would you like to take a direct entry and just do a little additional examination and then you go in? Because getting them to sit down to prepare for another JAMB, I've seen people go from 2+ to 1 something, because they start to lose interest, the concentration, the preparation starts to drop. So this is the trend, and we as concerned parents, mothers, we need to let the whole world know that the federal government of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria, is high time we have an alternative to JAMB as the sole process of admitting our children into higher institutions of learning. We need to have an alternative to the administration of JAMB. We want maybe they would decentralize it and let each state or each region administer, because you are expecting somebody from Lagos State to have 300 and something, and then the northern state, you say, because there's academic deficiency, you are going to take that same course. You are asking for 3+ from a southerner, from a northerner with maybe 180. You want a northerner to come to school at all costs, so you take medicine or any other relevant course for 180. But a southerner, we're completely exposed here. You're expecting us to have 3+ because we are oversubscribed. But there they have a minimal amount of people that are actually interested, in getting into school. So these are the discrepancies that are happening, and it's affecting our future totally. NDA is an alternative, it's a military alternative to higher education, higher institution. If you go to NDA, you are as qualified as a graduate. So maybe we should start looking at other avenues of getting our children actually educated in quote as expected. A minimal first degree, which is the status quo now in Nigeria. A minimal, all levels doesn't break you anything, and then everybody's saying a first degree. So that's how we need to have alternatives to JAMB now.
Okay, secondly, what do you think about CBT? Is it encouraged for it to move up high again, or should we go back to our old ways?
No, we can't. A lot of our youth are already cyber literate. They will do better on CBT than any other means of having their examinations. So there's no way you will expect our children to go back to the manual way of doing JAMB. The CBT is the way to go. We can only up our game by giving them options of either you want to do the CBT because of children that don't have access to computer literacy, or you want the old way of doing it. So we should talk about a multi-purpose, a multi-sectorial approach country. We should not be thinking about when there's a reform, somebody wants to take the glory and everybody goes that way. We should not forget the things the times past, how we've come this far as a nation. So nothing should be always, you don't take things off in totality. You give people options. It's a gradual migration from one process of living to another process. And that is the way to have a good nation. Like I said about the discrepancy, a northerner, even I went to unity school, a northerner will come with maybe half of what is called. But you know the rat race in you getting that slot from the SAS. But a northerner will come with next to nothing just because they want them to go to school. So these are the things we have now that we need to address as a nation.
I said, okay, ma. You know, normally, if you fail JAMB, they fail you. You have to wait for another year for you to get to JAMB. Now that JAMB has failed most of our children,
Okay.
do you think it's the right time for the DG to throw in the towel, to do the needful, and to be a patriotic Nigerian, even though it's difficult for Nigerians to resign? Do you think it's the best time for him to resign or to be taken away from that? Because we have many people that can take up that particular job.
Permit me to digress. I'm a player in the political sector. There's a quota to political appointments, and then any government that wants to succeed also asks for technocracy, which are people that are knowledgeable in certain fields. They don't carry the garb of ministers or DGs or this. They are there silently working. I am very sure I can tell you for free that whoever is heading JAMB is just a ceremonial head. There's a structure in place that is doing a lot of the work. But if you look at the covering on it, that maybe the person needs to go, it doesn't solve the problem. It's just that we need to bring in more people that are working behind the scene, more knowledgeable people, more people that are genuinely concerned about Nigerians. Maybe we have infiltrations now behind the scene of people that are order conscious, not result conscious. So it's not about removing the edge or removing, but you know in Nigeria it's always like, okay, if you don't like the face of the person who's heading an agency, you might as well sacrifice. But those days are gone. A ceremonial edge does not really have much to do with the workings of any system. It is the people that are on the inside we need to overhaul. Maybe a lot of them have been compromised financially, technically, and otherwise. People keep talking about result leakages and all that.
So, ma, you think that it was sabotaged?
Something like that. So we need to bring in, I think, people that have nothing to lose by doing the right thing. We need to bring in people that have nothing to lose by making sure that our children get a fair deal. And these are people that you will need to go and look for across the diaspora. People that have made enough money and name not to compromise it. You need to bring them into the education sector, because they know that what they are coming to do is they are coming to clean up the system. Not people that have become territorial, that have become ancestors, oracles in Nigeria, that they will tell you nobody will move me from here. We need to bring people that have seen the good things of life, wealth, power, and intentionally want to change the educational sector. These are the people that you need to bring in now. It's not about the professor, it's just about the fact that we need to overhaul that system, and this might end in consultancy, which on the long run is an unbiased umpire, which is what we need. Unbiased umpire, people that have nothing to gain by watching others go down, and it's not as if they have preference for the power for the people in power. They just want things to work. They want Nigeria to work. We need more higher institutions. Of course, we need more jobs. We need more technical-based higher institutions where you can actually learn and be able to practice. Maybe they will have to bring back, maybe they will have to introduce industrial training to at the university level. in some courses, not certain courses. Like architecture does it, but majority of these courses, maybe you need to bring in industrial training in the middle to help our children. So at the end of the day, they will actually know the purpose for why they are in higher institution. So these are the approaches I think we should apply.